Hi and welcome to a whole bag of tricks. Today we are going to see how to deal with OCD in autistic children. OCD is not a symptom or a condition caused by the spectrum. It is a separate condition and it is quite common in autistic kids. I'm not a doctor, neither do I have any medical experience. I'm just sharing what I learned and what worked for me and what I think might reduce the intensity of OCD. In this video, let's see about three topics. One is the food factor, how to use food to deal with certain elements of OCD, and about object obsession, what to do if your child is obsessed with an object, and activity or routine obsession, like what to do if your child is obsessed with a routine. Okay, now let's get started. First, the food factor. Some repetitive behavior could be due to biological factors. For instance, if your child couldn't resist eating cardboard or paint, it could be due to iron deficiency. Not every repetitive behavior should be clubbed under OCD. Each behavior would have multiple variables acting on it. You should know why the child is acting in a certain way in a scenario. So if there is a very high iron deficiency, there is something called pica. I'm not sure how to pronounce this correctly. So in this condition, the child would be more interested in eating non-edible food. And also iron deficiency is linked to repetitive behavior, irritability and so on. According to some experts, OCD is very common in conditions where the body has very low serotonin level. The best way to increase serotonin level is to eat food that are rich in tryptophan, like egg, cheese, nuts, soy products and so on. In addition, the body can secrete serotonin only when it has adequate carbohydrates. If any child is subjected to some form of diet that restricts carbohydrate, it could again stimulate OCD behaviors. Okay, now let's go to the obsession. What to do if your child is obsessed with an object? You should understand what element of that object is intriguing the child. It could be the shape, the color, the smell and so on. Say if your child is obsessed with shape, he will find shape in everything. The alphabet C would look like a crescent shape. The alphabet A would look like a triangle and so on. In this case, the child would associate every person or item to a shape or a color. Like a mother could be circle, sister could be square and so on. There are two ways to deal with it. The first method to try is associating information with this object. My daughter is actually obsessed with blue circle. She likes blue color, she likes circle, and we happen to have a blue bucket that came with a lid. So she will carry this blue circular lid with her every single day. So for a chunk of period, all her photos would have that lid with her, lid in the picture. So the first method I tried with this is associating information. The main advantage of OCD is that it will be easier to train the kid in anything by using that obsession as a reinforcer. In my case, she had a blue circle, so I named it as Earth. It is actually very good to give it a name. This will stop them from associating everything into the shape. So this blue circle became Earth, and I started to teach her about Earth every day. She'll be playing with the lid. I'll call her, I'll get that lid from her. And for her to get it back from me, she has to repeat one sentence I say to her. Say like, I started with, this is Earth. She has to repeat it. And the next day, actually after 1 hour or something, I'll again call her, take the lid back. I'll ask her to repeat it, this is Earth. I will never change the sentence. I will not say one time as this is Earth and then go for this is the Earth or this is an Earth and so on. Every single word should remain same. So over time, after 3 or 4 days, when I call her and pull the lid from her, she'll voluntarily say this is Earth and she'll ask for the lid. Then I started to add 2 sentences like this is Earth, it is blue and circle in shape. I went on to add a sentence every week or so to a point where this circle was no longer a circle for her. It is Earth and it is associated with a lot of information. And do you know what happened after a few weeks? She was able to memorize that 5-6 words and she started like that was her first attempt to talk in multiple sentences. It's not talking, but still it was first attempt to speak in coherent sentences for 25 to 30 seconds together.
Earth is blue. one circular shape. Earth goes round and round and
Sun. It goes round and round the sun.
Round and sun. Earth is a planet. It has 7 continents, 5 oceans, 11 years. Moon goes round and years.
Very good. High five. And then after some time I introduced a white circle and I named it moon, and I did the same thing for that. And over time she understood, like her obsession actually went down. She was still obsessed with a blue circle, but she was more interested in the planets, and the whole point of obsession turned towards something academic, something useful, and something that she couldn't hold on her hand every time. And over time she actually lost interest on the lip. Second method is diluting the obsession. Like, say your child is walking around with this blue circle or a dinosaur or any toy. What if there is 5 blue circles at home or 7 dinosaurs at home? Obviously the child's obsession will get diluted. Keep on adding these objects. If you don't find objects, you can draw them, take printout of these pictures. For a while we actually used to take printouts of Earth or blue circles in different things. Earth will be blue, Neptune will be blue, Uranus will be blue. We'll take printouts of everything, we'll spread it around the house. I'll take printout of coloring pages of Earth, and I'll ask her to color. We gave her clay and we ask her to make Earth and so on. So we are diluting this obsession. And there was times when I gave her a big chart paper, just blue and green paint, and asked her to paint Earth howsoever she wanted. Her obsession turned from a singular object to a multiple objects that she cannot have all at the same time. So eventually her obsession actually faded out a little. Same way, if you are like child is obsessed with train or dinosaur, buy different colors of trains and dinosaurs. Teach them about trains. Teach them different facts about dinosaurs. They'll get intrigued a lot. Using this, you can go on to the next items also, like from Earth, I took her to all planets, then snake, then she was obsessed with tongue, so I went on with giraffe has blue tongue, so we learnt about giraffe. We are like diverting her from that object to a wide range of information, which actually fades out this obsession, object obsession. And we also tried this one, like while she was having this blue circle, she would insist on taking that circle to her school, which was against school policy. So we made this small space at home and saying this is a space for blue circle. So before going, we started with small trips, like before going to take bath, she'll keep that blue circle in that place, she'll go take bath and come back, that blue circle should stay there. Some days she used to leave the blue circle in the middle of the hall, on the bed, anywhere, and I wouldn't change it. It will be there. If I have to clean the house, I'll clean around it. It will stay there for the whole 5 hours when she is in school, and she comes back, she'll take and she'll be happy. This is it's not like if I change the place she'll get angry or something, but it's like a reassurance that whenever I leave something there, it will be there. Now, what to do if your child is obsessed with an activity? Let's say your child is obsessed with jumping on the bed, switching on the light, and so on. It's usually associated with sensory issues. There are 5 senses, and the child could be hyper or hyporeactive to any of the senses. The constant switching on and off of the light could be an indicator of visual seeking. They could have liked the sound of the switch makes. It is important to know what triggers a child and use that in a productive way. It is actually easier to turn any obsessive activity into an OT activity. Your child likes to tear paper, give them bubble wrap, or draw a line in the paper and ask them to tear along the line. If a child likes to jump, take them to a trampoline park, or put small obstacles, make them jump over it. Give them more of these activities and in a different way every day, that it will be more fun for them to do as OT rather than doing an everyday object. Equally, obsession with an activity can also stem from anxiety. A child has a very limited understanding of the surrounding and is always anxious about what is going to happen next. Thus, repeating the same activity, seeing the same cartoon or singing the same song is a way of self-calming. So in those cases, you can either make them a chart of what is going to happen next, reassure them multiple times, or use these to create a timetable. This happens after this, this happens after this. So it will calm them a little. It is actually not possible to completely erase OCD after a child. The best thing we can do is dilute it or divert it into a place where these activities does not disrupt the child's normal life. These methods actually worked for me, and I hope it actually works for you also. Thank you.